As Director General of the Irish Prison Service, each and every day I meet with people who have broken the law and who are now in prison. What I notice when I listen to their stories is a series of missed opportunities, lost possibilities, and indeed, in many cases, broken lives. Their stories seem to be all the same. Young men and women who've come through traumatic childhoods, unloved, often uncared for, unsupported, know little or nothing about playing and laughing and having fun. They seem to have had to bring themselves up. They seem to have had to start themselves. And when we try to intervene within a prison environment, it is extremely challenging to help and support this. One of the ways that I describe this for people is like an empty vessel. Often we get these adult bodies that are actually empty. And what we have to try and do is fill them back up. And usually the main ingredient is love, care and love, decency, respect, somebody giving them an opportunity to be listened to. Education is a way out of poverty. Mostly these young people, young men and women, have missed out in all sorts of life opportunities, including education. A lot of them have been in our care system. A lot of them have suffered abuse. A lot of them have alcohol, drug and substance abuse problems. And we see this paraded around our prison structures every day. These people are broadly people who are not a main danger to society, but they're often a main danger to themselves and to their future generation, in particular their children, who we know will come to prison after them. We now see the third and fourth generation of the same family in Mountjoy prison. The officers watch them coming through the committal areas. We have to stop this. We have to give opportunities early on to stop the next generation of prison.
I was put into care at the age of 6 with my little brother. My ma was an alcoholic, so that's why we were put into care. Residential care is very tricky. You're living with 8 different lads that you don't know, 16 different staff that you don't know. You go in as a stranger, they're strangers, and you're petrified. You'd have one staff coming in for 3 months and then she's on maternity leave and she wouldn't be back for another year, or to go off for a different job. So it was very hard to kind of trust people because they were always changing. I had 2 brothers, one older, one younger. One older brother was put into high secure when he was 10. Never really got a chance, and now he's in and out of the prison services, St. Pat's and Mountjoy for armed robbery. And my younger brother, me and my younger brother, when we were living in residential, we were the closest thing ever. I think that's what kept me out of trouble, because I was looking after him all the time. School was very tough actually. I didn't start school till I was 8 years old in Dún Laoghaire, and so I didn't know how to read, I didn't know how to write, I didn't know how to spell. Went into school in 2nd class, I think, and had to start from scratch. I was a very shy kid, so I knew that I was shy because I was kind of paranoid that I couldn't spell or couldn't read or couldn't write, and I wanted to be able to do them things. And I said before, like, I think I stayed out of trouble to make sure my younger brother stayed out of trouble. Like, when I was in care, I was 6 at the start, and my younger brother would have been 3. So very, very young. So I was like, I think I kind of smacked down my childhood at the age of 6 to look after my little brother. Yeah, a lot of the times you see people who grow up in residential care, they're getting moved left, right and centre, so they never get that sense of community. Like, I was in Docky for 12 years, so it's a long time to spend in one area. Like, I know one person that I know who went through 12 different placements, and well, how are you supposed to get any sense of community, good friends, if you haven't got that a sense of belonging in your own community? I'm actually going to either UCD, DIT or Trinity next year to train as a social worker. I want to work in aftercare to show them what they can actually become outside of residential.
Many of the homeless people that I work with, not all by any means, but many of them are people who have been failed in childhood. They've been failed by all the systems in our society. They've been failed by their own family. They've been failed by the childcare system. They've been failed by the educational system. They've been failed by the opportunities for employment, which have been nil. They have been victims of a whole series of neglect and lack of intervention in their lives, and they end up homeless, and they end up in sometimes with drug or mental health difficulties. And it's very, very difficult knowing that if early intervention had occurred in their lives might have been very, very different. When I went as a young priest to work in the inner city of Dublin, we used to say that we could tell with 95% accuracy those young people who were going to end up in prison when we were baptizing them. So those young people who are at risk are easily identifiable, and we know what to do. We have excellent projects around the country which are proved and tested and intervene very successfully in the lives of young people at risk. But the problem is those projects are patchy. They don't exist everywhere. Where they do exist, they're often underfunded, and they only reach a minority of the young people who actually need them. Now, most of us were lucky enough to have been given the opportunities to grow into reasonably happy and fulfilled adults. But all children deserve those opportunities. When we talk about early intervention, we often use a cost-benefit analysis. Yes, every euro invested in early childhood will save maybe 8 or 10 euros later on. But we owe it to our children to give them the opportunities to grow into happy, fulfilled adults, not because of a cost-benefit analysis, not because it's going to save money in the long run for society. We owe it to them because, as a matter of justice and as a matter of equality, every child should have that opportunity to develop and grow in a way that the rest of us have taken for granted.
I was the first out of all my friends and all my family to have a baby. Didn't really know what to expect while I was pregnant. The programme helped me a lot with how to look after myself so that I could have a happy and healthy and a safe pregnancy, and also about helping me with my child's development as they were growing inside me. It also helped me a lot with preparing for the labour and for the birth. It helped us so much with bonding with Abigail, with helping us with feeding, changing, washing her, lots of different things like that, as everyone has an opinion on how a baby should be fed, should be burped. It was really good to know that somebody else had done the research and could tell us this is the way to do it and why we do it in this way. And it was basically just making small changes and really helped us out a lot. When we signed up for the programme first, we were told it was a 5-year programme, which the start when you're 7 weeks pregnant is a little bit daunting. But when we got into the programme, we found it was very manageable. We organised our meetings with our mentor once every 2 weeks. It's in our house if we wanted to be in our house. If not, if there's a week that we couldn't, we can meet in the Preparing for Life offices. Our mentor comes out and she meets with myself and my husband and Abigail. It's usually about half an hour to an hour twice a month. We go through tip sheets, we talk about Abigail's development, anything that she's done over the past few weeks, where we're going in the future. For example, we had a discussion about potty training and training Abigail at night time. We got a good few tips from that. We went through our tip sheets about creative play and imagination and how us as parents can help our child to do that, and how we can provide very basic toys and materials in the house, like making a tent out of a blanket and chairs just to bring on her creative play. And every time we meet, there's tip sheets are on different things, and it's always something that's relevant to Abigail, to the stage she's at or to the stage that she's going to be coming up to as well.
The ambition behind prevention and early intervention initiatives is to prevent difficulties, to intervene early in difficulties, and to offer and support services where difficulties have already occurred. But as a consequence of the recent investment in prevention and early intervention initiatives here in the island of Ireland, we now have evidence of our own which is showing us the extent to which interventions can really change the course of development of children and young people. The value of that evidence is only measured in the extent to which we continue to support this type of prevention and early intervention initiative in the context of developing universally adequate and quality supports and services for children and families. The investment in the prevention and early intervention projects is putting money where mouths are, if you like, and the findings from those now need to be listened to and heard, and we do need to recognise that it is a spend which needs to continue, because it's not going to happen without integrated community-based supports for family and children in an environment and in a society which is really very, very different for parents and children now than it was 20 or 30 years ago. So I think we're on a kind of a cusp here. The national policy for children, or framework for children and young people, will be a statement of goals and ambitions, but they will remain goals and ambitions if we don't bring on stream support of ministries like the Finance Ministry, the other sort of allied ministries that we don't perhaps think of when we think of children and young people. Children and Youth Affairs are deeply committed to this. Education is committed. So we need actually government commitment to investing in children and young people, and through supporting prevention and early intervention, so that on a basis of universal good quality services for families and children, we have the opportunity to provide additional supports for those who need it, when they need it, and also to provide quality services which actually prevent difficulties happening and smooth the path for children and families in their development before they bump up against problems at all. We've seen from the various stories that we've heard in this short presentation how services are no longer fit for purpose in certain areas, how we've known for a long time that they are not doing as much as they could do. But we've also heard stories of hope, we've heard stories of satisfaction with services. We know now what can make a difference to children, families and community. We know from our own research here in Ireland, we know from international research, we know what to do. And the policies that are being developed at a national level can actually commit to their goals by reference to specific evidence-based prevention and early intervention projects specific to the Irish context, so that in 5 or 10 years' time, we don't hear the stories of failure, we don't hear the stories of missed opportunities, but rather we hear the stories of hope and of success and of optimism in the future.